What's up, y'all? Welcome back to Icing the Puck. Conference final time. It's
Yeah.
crazy. We've been coming at y'all, week by week, not doing multiple episodes. So it's like so much happens in such a long, short span of time. And here we are. We're a couple games in here, 3 games in for both series after tonight. Things not looking so good on one end, and things pretty tight on the other end out in the East. So, Jordan, what's up, man? How are you doing? I think I already know the answer to that, but how are you
Yeah,
doing,
it's
man?
not so great, but hey, it ain't over till it's over.
That's
You know,
true. That's true.
it's best of seven for a reason, so we'll see. But I mean, I've been enjoying watching some of the hockey this past week.
There you go. There
A
you
little
go.
bit of it, the stuff that have no stake in, but I mean, it's been all things considered, like regardless of the results, they've been good games. Like it's been good hockey. It's just not been, the result that I've wanted. But
Yeah, and I think, why not? Why not? This is probably going to be a shorter episode. Let's just jump right into it. Let's get that one out of the way because I think there's a little more to talk about on the other side of the country. But here in the West, Vegas, Colorado, I think this was a anticipated series as we got deeper into the last round. Vegas played pretty well. Colorado obviously was smoking both teams they played. And here we are. Colorado is down 3-0. Lost both games at home, lost last night in Vegas. Cale Makar returns last night, makes an impact, does what he usually does. And, but Colorado still can't come away with it. Vegas is able to get goals late and stack them up very fast. Vegas looks good on special teams. They look good defensively. Carter Hart, solid in net. Scott Wedgwood, not so solid in net, but not 100% his fault. I'll back him up a little bit. I think Colorado's bottom defensive pairings have been not showing up for Wedgwood these past 3 games. And I'm going to be honest with you. I think the offense has slowed a little bit. So I'll let you take the floor. I've said enough.
I mean, that's completely true. It's, the offense has just been kind of sleeping this whole series. I mean, defensively, yeah, it could have been better. Oh, Montreal just scored. Sorry,
Let's
Montreal
go
just scored.
Montreal.
Yeah,
Let's go
they're up now.
Montreal. We'll get to that in a little bit.
Yeah, we'll talk about that series in a little bit. It'll be close to being over by the time we're done recording.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's just been kind of Vegas and Colorado. It's an odd matchup. It's a matchup that, I mean, kind of worried everybody. Anybody that knows how Colorado plays, like Vegas is a really bad matchup for them, and it's showing. But I think the biggest factor is, again, yeah, the offensive production. Everybody on offense just looks really timid. Like they're just keeping everything. They're just not, for lack of a better, like they're just not shooting it enough in the sense of like they're not trying to take any chance. They're trying to get, I mean, they're getting some quality chances, and Carter Hart has been stopping those. But sometimes it's not about getting the quality chances. Sometimes it's about getting the messy ones that ends up, getting you the goals. And against a team like Vegas, that's what they need, because Vegas plays really, really well defensively. That's why they were able to sneak their way into the playoffs with all their overtime points and stuff like that, because they're able to lock it down and hold down at least through regulation, or catch back up and win in regulation, and tie it in regulation and go to overtime. And yeah, I mean, just the offense. I think the offense has been the biggest issue. I don't think the defense has been, because I kind of went into this thinking this is going to be a very high scoring series, and it has been on one side.
Yeah.
But just Colorado's just not showing up. And I don't even want to like blame it on like injuries and things like that. Like I know there are some guys that are playing through injuries, but every team has that, so that's not really an excuse. But I think they've refused to adjust how they're playing to try and be the first like 10 minutes of the game 3. They changed it up a little bit and it looked really good, and they scored 3 goals basically in that time. And then they just kept doing the same thing, like back to what they did normally, and it just doesn't work against Vegas. It worked okay against LA because, they're very similar in the way that they play defensively. They were able to, come away with the win against LA because they just outscored them, and even that was rough. I mean, because, LA just doesn't have huge offensive capabilities. that all Colorado needed was like 2 goals, 3 goals versus, like 4 or 5 to win this series. And that's kind
Yeah.
of the story of the Pacific Division too. Some of those teams, like the teams that did make the playoffs, like Anaheim, the Oilers, Vegas, and stuff like that, their gameplay and the way that they won the games that they won was just outscore their opponent in a way. So, I mean, I don't know. There's a lot of reasons behind, why Colorado's down 3-0 in the series. But like I say, it's not over till it's over. Can't just give up all hope. You gotta believe. You gotta.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'll say, like, with Vegas, what won them the cup 3 years ago, obviously, is they had just this incredible defensive scheme that they were able to come up with to match a high scoring team like Edmonton, in those conference finals. And this is what they do. I mean, a lot of teams have ended up modeling their defensive scheme, their PK, off of Vegas with the whole diamond formation, triangle, whatever you want to call it, set up in the zone, stuff like that. And they've rode on the backs of goaltenders that are not amazing, but, can get the job done with Hill and then now Hart. And this is just what they do. It's almost like, I'm going to be the one unbiased guy here on the pod, because your team's in it. Like, of course, you can be biased, but I will say Vegas, they have a winning pedigree. Like, if they do end up winning this series, it's because this whole organization has been built on this winning culture since it started. I mean, going to the cup in their first year, winning a cup, a few years after that, and then here they are. Like, they're a team that will always be in the dance. And like, yeah, we could go into the playoff format argument, yada, yada, yada. I think we're definitely going to get into that in the offseason. Seems to get brought up every episode. But yeah, like, Vegas is here. I mean, they have outlasted, multiple teams in the Western Conference. And yeah, you could argue like they faced weaker opponents, if you want to say that, leading up to this, with their division and then who they've played in the playoffs so far. But I mean, hey, they're here for a reason. They have a solid style of play. They have guys who are leading the playoffs in points. I think that's huge for getting them to where they are right now. Marner, Eichel, Barbashev, I mean, all these guys. And then you have guys who are usually unhealthy that are pretty healthy right now, like Mark Stone making a huge impact with the first goal last night. I mean, this is just, and one thing I'll add too, last thing I'll add, their power play is phenomenal. I think their power play is great, and we know that Colorado has struggled on the power play all year. They've kind of put it together a little bit. I'd say since trading for Kadri, it's kind of come together. But like, yeah, Colorado, I mean, you won't blame it on injuries or anything, but I can't help since watching that something's going on. I mean, obviously Makar was out 2 games, but like the team has a lot of older guys on it. Is there like a sense of fatigue, even though they kind of speed ran the first 2 series? Like, there has to be something. And then with Wedgwood, maybe the lights are a little too bright. He's never, ever been this far. I mean, let alone started a playoff series until this year. And I think, personally, I mean, I'll get your opinion on this. I think it's time to put Blackwood in.
I agree.
For the next
oh yeah,
game.
yeah, I
It's
agree.
time.
Yeah, I mean, I would have put him in for game 3, but yeah, I mean, I definitely think that what's the reason you have 2 goalies? Like, they have these 2 goalies for very different reasons. They have very different. Obviously they're both goalies and they're both skilled, but they have different areas where they're better. And I think a team like Vegas, I think Blackwood just maybe matches up better to them. I probably would have started him. And that's, I don't like the whole, like, I get it. The whole, like, ride the hot goalie basically and be like,
Well, of course,
the one who's
yeah.
been winning, like, stay with them. But you have 2 goalies for a reason. Like, why not use them more?
Well, and Colorado split them a lot of the year. And you and I were talking about this, we were hanging out last night talking about this during the game. Wedgwood is more of a, a methodical goalie who will make the stand-up saves, who will make the gimmies. He'll make a lot of gimmies, but sometimes when it comes to that clutch factor moment, I mean, he's been a backup his whole career. It's not really there, but Blackwood makes those net front crazy, like, scrambling saves.
Yeah, I think it depends. Like, Wedgwood is normally a very, like, he's really good at stopping the, like, straight up shots, and, like, he's really good at, like, positional saves and, like, reading plays really well. Whereas, like, Blackwood is a lot of the, like the in the crease, like the scramble, like desperation. Like he's really good at like finding and like basically freezing the puck and like, out of the pile and in the scramble or whatever. He's like, there it is. And he's able to get it really well. He's also a little bit better at like rebound control.
Yeah.
Versus, I mean, he does give up rebounds, but they're not like directly back to the other team, versus Wedgwood has had a few of those this past, couple games, and that's been, the death of them. But I mean, yeah, I mean, there are a lot of, I mean, nothing's been confirmed yet, obviously, because they won't do that until after the series or after whatever. Bakar's hurt, like with his shoulder thing. Manson's probably got broken ribs. It looks like Brent Burns is potentially hurt now too, which is crazy. Kadri's probably playing with a broken wrist again.
It's stacking up. It's stacking up.
Nelson has been injured since the Olympics.
Nelson, and that's, I see so many Colorado fans calling out Brock Nelson online, and I've known, most people have, about his injury. Like, they give the guy a break here, man. Like, he's also 35 years old. Like, I mean,
and he's been playing. He hasn't like been out at all.
Yeah.
I mean, he's played with like extra, like the bubble and all that stuff. He's been there and like he helped the team when they needed it. But and now it looks like potentially McKinnon's hurt.
Yeah, after that block last night.
Yeah, Nichushkin's hurt. Nichushkin didn't play the last 20-something minutes of the game after the second period, or at the end of the second period. And then, yeah, I mean, it's, I don't know. It is what it is. But like I said, it's not over till it's over. There's always whatever slim a chance. There's always a chance. You never know.
And to finish off the conversation with this series, I got to throw it in there. I got to. It's fun. Is this a President's Trophy curse catching up? Is this a superstition? It could be something like that if you're a superstitious person. I mean, but Colorado fans were writing that off all year.
Yeah, I mean, I still don't think that's what it is. I'm not. Yeah, I think that's stupid. I just don't. But I mean, people could say whatever they want. The thing I see a lot online, and I think is probably the most trash, like garbage take from Avs fans in general right now, is about Bednar. I see the writing on the wall, and I know like how this league works. He's going to be the scapegoat. But also, I think that's a mistake. I get both sides of the argument. Like, yes, he has, it has been year over year since they won the cup, the same kind of results. I mean, this is their deepest playoff run since they won the cup. But I don't think it's a good idea to remove him or like, to get rid of him as a coach, because he is a really good coach. And you might as well keep him around. And now the other thing too about McFarland, potentially, the GM might be potentially getting a job in Nashville. But that's not confirmed. That's just kind of speculation and rumors, but potentially being their new, I think it was VP of hockey operations. So a promotion from his current, but also he's under contract still with Colorado, but I don't know. Anyway, I mean, I get both arguments about, like I said, about Bednar. Like, yes, it's been the same result. Like maybe it's time to move on, but also look at this team from where they were. Yes, they've won one cup. A lot of teams can't say that. They can't say that they brought in a coach, changed the entire organization around from being the worst team in the league, almost in history, modern history, to winning a cup within 10 years and still going.
Very true.
So I would think it would be a mistake to get rid of him, but I know how this league works, and somebody's got to be to blame. And maybe that could be it. Maybe it could be a positive, but I think a lot of the losses in this series is not a coaching issue, because you can only coach the players so much. Like you can help them train, and you can
players gotta
teach
want
them play.
They gotta want it.
Yeah,
they gotta be healthy. They gotta have endurance. I mean, everything.
You can just watch the attitude of the teams when they play. And Colorado had this struggle all year. If they didn't start off winning, then it was a struggle because they just got in their own heads and they like looked at, I mean, you can see the reactions from the team as they were losing the lead last night. And just as soon as it started slipping away, it just got worse and worse, and you could see the reactions. And then after that point, it's like, yeah, it's over. It's done. Like they're not going to come back in this game. But, you never know. You never know. If in my biased opinion, but also based on the regular season, all things considered, and or all things not considered, imagining that the entire roster is healthy, if any team can come back and win 4 in a row, it's this Colorado team. Will it happen? Very unlikely, but
crazier things have happened.
It has happened in the
Crazier
past.
things have
It has
happened.
happened in the past. The last time was 2014, and that team won the cup. That was the LA Kings.
Hey, there you go. There you go, man. I mean, time will tell. Tomorrow night will tell the story. And, we're either going to come back to y'all next week with Jordan in very high spirits, or Jordan saying he's not going to watch the Stanley Cup, because that's usually how he acts.
Then I've got to literally choose between the 2 worst outcomes: Vegas or a Canadian team.
Whoa. That's a big, bold prediction right there. Let's jump right in. What do you mean a Canadian team? Think Montreal's going to win this whole thing?
They're going to definitely beat Carolina. Yeah.
Ooh.
I think so.
Well, it's tied up right now.
Yeah, I know they took away that 1 goal that happened.
Yeah. Tonight has been a good game, and I want to start by talking about Carolina. Okay. Now, a lot of people, TikTok, have been like, since when did Brian become a Carolina fan? I was the known resident Carolina hater for the whole season. Both of us were. But hey, man, you know me. I'm going to give flowers where they deserve to be handed, smooches where they deserve to be planted. Okay, this is how things go. I love Carolina's style of play, and I'm going to say it. Okay, I genuinely think Carolina has been the most dominant team in the Stanley Cup playoff. Okay, even though Montreal has been able to give them a slight run for their money here in the conference championship, the way this team is so resilient and holds so strong, they might be, if Carolina goes to the Cup and wins it, okay, no matter how, and no matter in how many games, this might be one of the best Cup winning rosters I think ever put together. Like, actually, the way this team plays together, all lines, the chemistry is there. I think, the biggest gripe people had, including myself and you with this team for years, was they don't have a superstar player. They tried the Mikko Rantanen experiment. It didn't work. They said, forget it. Forget it. We have our guys. Sebastian Aho is an absolute bulldog. The way he just flattens people is amazing. Still can score. Seth Jarvis, kind of a down year for him. Looks great with the homeless guy goatee, by the way. It's an amazing look on him. All right. He's stepped up in this round. Shane Gostisbehere used to be an Arizona Coyote, one of the most underrated scoring defensemen in the league, in my opinion. Dude has shown up in the conference final. And last thing I'm going to say before I give you the floor here is I love Rod Brindamore's decision to keep Freddie between the pipes, even though he let in 6 in game 1. I love it. This guy has been your guy for 4+ years now. He's living in the moment. He's over the blood clots. I mean, he's winning games, dude. I don't know, man. I don't know what else I could say. Carolina has really impressed me, and I'll let you talk a little bit before I get to my Montreal Canadiens, my favorite team in the Stanley.
I mean, I agree with what you're saying about Carolina. I'll admit that they're a really well put together team. I do disagree about Freddie Anderson. I really don't think he's that good of a goalie. I mean, yeah, game 1 was really, really bad, but if you look at the rest of this, right now has 2 goals against in 12 shots. The only way Carolina is going to win is, Carolina has more than doubled Montreal's shots on goal right now, and they have the same amount of goals. If you look at the 2 goalies in this series, Anderson is not the better goalie in this series. And I think that's what's going to get them.
I will agree there.
Yeah.
And,
but also,
I'll talk about Dobos
I think, what's his name? Bussy is a better goalie. I think that he is a better, he has a potentially higher ceiling than Anderson. This is as good as Freddie Anderson is ever going to be.
That's very true.
And he's only going to get worse.
And now Freddie has also had the best defense he's ever had in his career in front of him right now.
And that's
for sure.
and that's saying something. The like he this is the best defense he has in front of him, and he's still letting up like really soft goals.
But
So
okay,
I don't know.
I don't know. To his credit, like Montreal is the type of team when you say letting up soft goals, Montreal is the type of team that like they won't really like, how do I say this? I don't think any of the Montreal goals are like soft. I think they are all like click, click, boom, like shotgun to the face type of goals. You know, like they are like all out. I mean, the tic tac toe plays, the setup plays, and I'll put it a lot on Carolina's defense for, you know, that's been Carolina's big detriment this series. Has they let up a lot of breakaways. They let up a lot of like 2-on-1s, you know, 3-on-2s.
Yeah.
And it's like because their defense gets so involved in the offensive zone. So it's been a
Yeah.
problem of theirs.
I guess my terminology I shouldn't have used soft goals. Like he saves the goals that are expected. So they're kind of the opposite of soft goals. He saves the goals that are expected, but he doesn't make like the crazy saves like that. You know, he just doesn't have it in him.
Yeah, I agree.
mean,
I would agree.
And the thing is, like, you have to make one of those every once in a while, or else it's not going to work. That's why Montreal did score. They scored 5 and then an empty net, I think it was, right?
Yeah,
in the first
yeah.
That's why they scored 5 games. That's why they scored 4 goals in one period on him, on 5 shots.
Yeah, for sure. And I agree with you with that. He has not been the best goalie in this series because Jakub Dobeš has showed up every single time he needed to, except for overtime. And that's another thing I was going to say is if Montreal wants to win the series, I'm pretty sure you and I talked about this a couple episodes ago. Last episode when we were previewing these conference finals, it's the same for Colorado and Carolina. Like both of these teams, or my bad, for Colorado and Montreal, if they can't let their opponents bring them into overtime, because Vegas has thrived off overtime all year, and then Carolina has the offensive ability to just outmatch you in overtime.
I mean, I don't think that Vegas thrived over. Vegas lost most of their overtime games. They just got to overtime, and this is not the same overtime as the regular season.
But what I'm saying is Vegas has resilience. Carolina has, you know, the lines and the talent and the players to basically win a best on best in an overtime situation. Like, you know, like look at last game, game 2. I mean, that Nikolai Ehlers hasn't really been showing up all playoff. All of a sudden he has 2 goals in game 2 with the overtime snipe. Like, I mean, this is, you know, it's like the roster's so deep, you know, any of these guys could win it for you. So,
yeah. I mean, it's definitely, I still say like, it's me being a hater saying that Carolina's going to lose, but I don't know. I think Montreal's just got it in them. I think that they, I mean, we talked about it all season that they're right there. They're right on the edge of being that team. And I think that they're closer than we thought they were. And
yeah, it's all, in my opinion, it's all because of Dobeš. Like if he didn't break out the way that he has, it could be a totally different story.
Can you imagine if some of the top guys in Montreal were kind of actually producing versus, you know, some of them are not, and they're still managed to get where they're at. So
yeah, I mean, that's because, once again, the depth on this team, underrated. They're a team that, like, yeah, we talk about the Suzukis and the Caulfield, Slavkovsky, Hudson, and Lane Hudson. I mean, he has gotten them to where they need to be. Talk about a guy who has stepped it up. And I will continue. I remember last year when we did this podcast, the last time we did it, Lane Hudson was just emerging into the league and all that. And I was like, in the beginning of this season, I said it too. I said, he's going to win Norris trophies. Everybody says absolutely not. He's overrated. I mean, he's single-handedly been, dare I say, like the Cale Makar of this team. Like he's making plays happen. He had a goal tonight, you know, and like, but yeah, like you're saying, not just the top guys, you know, you have the Andersons, the Evans, you know, Alex Newhook, a guy that you're very familiar with from years past. I mean, has totally set up his career in Montreal. Like,
Yeah, dude was a ghost for a couple of years, and then all of a sudden he showed up this year.
yeah,
It's
it's
crazy.
pretty wild. And that's the name of the game when it comes to Stanley Cup playoffs, man. Like, if you can, emerge and put yourself front and center, I mean, this is like the land of opportunity. But yeah, no, Montreal, Montreal, they're going to overtime right now. Hopefully I eat my words and Montreal could win this game, because I'm just like you. Like, I love the Canadiens. I remember saying at the beginning of the year,
Whoa. Don't put me in that group. I
I'm
do not
trying to
love the
put words in
Canadiens.
your mouth now.
I do not love the
You need to embrace
Canadiens.
them. You need to embrace them.
My biggest the only good outcome in this entire situation right now is if they just cancel the playoffs. They're like, sorry guys, we tested all the teams. Everybody tested positive for PEDs. We had to just, it's a wash. We lose. Everybody loses.
Well, I love Montreal.
The only people that can, nobody wins in any of these situations. There's only losers. There's only one way anybody wins.
Hey man, your team is still in it. My team's down and out. I got to find a team to root for. Some people would say I'm anti-American here, but I hope, other than your Avalanche, I hope the Canadiens go all the way. I love it.
Hold on a minute. You switch up every 5 minutes, dude. Last night you were talking so much. You're like, I love Vegas, bro. I love Vegas, dude. Yes.
I didn't make a single comment last night.
Yeah, you did. You did. You're over there you're like, oh yeah, Vegas is gonna win. Like, gotta have Vegas winning. I didn't
make a single comment last night. With all the things we were talking about at dinner, I did not make a single comment about the game. I just gave the occasional ooh whenever a goal went
I knew you were going in there. You're like rooting for Vegas and stuff like that. I know you were. You were. Don't even try and hide it.
Upton was.
Yeah, which is crazy.
We may have discussed slight rage baiting in the car on the way.
Crazy with him being an Oilers fan.
Yeah. But anyways.
Yeah, now you're like, yeah. And then you're like, oh yeah, other than Colorado, I want Montreal to win. What?
All right.
The switch up is crazy.
I do have a lot of crazy switch ups, I will admit, but my dog's trying to get in now, but it is all fun and games here. Like we've discussed this. Obviously, I would love for your team to make it and win, just so I can see my friend happy. But then at the same time, being division rivals, I have to have, You're
like, if we can't have it, nobody can.
Yeah, a little bit of that. But Dallas could never have it. I mean, they let us all down. But I'll wait for the offseason to rant about the Stars. But yeah, man, the Canadiens, I hope, we'll see what happens here in overtime. I think Carolina has the edge when it comes to overtime. But I think Montreal, if they stick it out, they can stick it out, and they play better at home. They always play better at home.
If they control overtime like they did the last game, I mean, they've got it locked. But we'll see. I think Montreal just started on the back foot last game and just couldn't catch up. Like, they were just so disorganized, and Carolina was so quick on the attack, on the regroup and attack, that Montreal just kept not being able to change lines fully and change their defenseman. I think Hudson got stuck out there for like over 2 minutes in overtime. Yeah. Like, it was just a disaster. But if they can start with a little bit of control and control overtime a little bit, I don't know. Here's my thought process on it, and this is just a completely out there, like, no factual basis or whatever. If Montreal starts to control overtime, I think Carolina panics a little bit, like, we're supposed to be the ones to win this. Like, we're supposed to be the winners. Like, we're supposed to be the best.
Yeah.
And Colorado suffers from that same kind of thing too. That's what I was saying. Like, attitude thing. Like, as soon as it starts to slip away, as soon as it's not going the way it's supposed to go, it's just morale dump.
A little bit of ego and pride.
Yeah. Versus, like, that's why Carolina that's why they're tied right now. And that's why Montreal sometimes looks like the better team, because Carolina's like, we're out shooting them. We're outplaying them in this area. It's like, why are we not winning?
And Montreal is nuts, dude. I mean, I think they've been outshot. I probably 90% of the games this playoff. And somehow, some way, they still do it. They still win the game. And I don't know. I don't know how anybody couldn't love this team. I was going to say earlier, we talked about how, they were going to be one of the most fun teams to watch this year because of how young they are and fast. And I mean, we're right. And Hey, man, I mean, I would love a Montreal Colorado Cup, but we'll see how things end up. I think that would be the most exciting outcome because I personally, now if we got like a Colorado Vegas Cup, then we would actually get the best versus the best for once, which is something you and I talk about. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, well, Colorado versus Carolina, you mean?
Yeah, that's what I said. Colorado versus
Oh,
Carolina.
I thought you
Yeah.
said Vegas versus Colorado.
I
was like,
might
what?
have, sorry. But Colorado versus Carolina would actually be a best on best cup, in my opinion. But hey, man, we'll see.
Yeah,
We'll
I
see.
can only imagine the trash talk, that would happen if that final matchup.
Between you and Grant.
Everybody, dude, anybody, just me talking trash about Carolina in general, and to anybody that would listen, it would be so bad.
Yeah.
But I'm talking trash about them. They're not even playing my team. Like they're actively playing a team I don't like, and I'm talking trash.
Yeah, I mean, things are getting real interesting here. Things are getting, real tight, real desperate. I mean, it's going to be interesting when we come to y'all next week, but I think that's pretty much all we got here. I'm going to say,
what does the schedule look like? I forget what the schedule looks like between the two teams. When's the last game? The last game would be next Monday if it goes to 7 with Colorado and Vegas. Man,
wow.
we'll see.
We will
see.
We will see. It's getting interesting, y'all. It's getting interesting, and we're coming up on the Stanley Cup final. So, and that means the season's almost over. It's rough times, but you know what? Exciting hockey and off-season episodes. But, until then, we're locked in here at the conference final. Hopefully on your end for a longer time. But
yeah, I mean, we can only hope, but you know what needs to happen, dude? I was just looking at it in the background there. It's like, need to reverse the bad luck of the. I'm not superstitious, but it's always funny that they lose.
The reverse retro jersey.
Yeah, maybe it's a good luck charm now.
Yeah, for those who don't know, every time Jordan wore that jersey to watch a game, like, just whatever.
In general,
yeah, they would lose every time. It wasn't when they wore it, it was when he wore it. So
yeah, they did. I think there was one game that they did wear it and they lost as well. But anyway, it was funny. It was just like, again, not superstitious. It doesn't mean anything. It doesn't change the outcome of the game. It's just funny.
Yeah, have y'all want to hear my weird superstition? Let's clip both of our superstitions. Okay. Mine's really strange, and it's with all of my sports teams.
I don't really have a superstition, though. I was just saying, I don't have one.
I got a big one.
Okay.
I have a big one. So if my team is ahead in a game, like they have the lead, I have to keep my feet off the floor. Like my feet will either be on the couch or they'll be on the coffee table, but they won't be on the floor. And if I go walk somewhere, like that's a different story. Like if I get up to get a beer or a snack or whatever, but like if I'm watching, I'm locked in and my feet can't touch the floor until they go down.
Only if they're winning?
Only if they're winning. And I've done that my whole life. My whole life.
This is why I don't get superstitions. Like I don't understand it, because you've done that and they still lose. And like people say like, oh, I always have to wear this jersey when I watch the game or else they'll lose. It's like they lost the last time you wore it. So obviously it's not real. It doesn't work.
It might be like an OCD type of thing. More than
I think it's more of just like a belief thing. Like,
yeah,
it's like, it's a hope thing. Like I wish I want them to win. Like, but it's like, obviously it's like, if it's not 100%, like if it doesn't happen reliably 100%, then it's not a superstition. It's not like
what superstitions do y'all have as the audience? Comment below. We need to hear. I gotta know if there's like a high success rate for some of your superstitions. Because for mine, with the like, it's hard to keep track of the feet thing, like, where they're gonna be. But if I was to guess, I'd say it's like a 60-40. I'm like, it's worked versus it's not worked. Like, that's like a guess. That's a guess, but
I have a guess. But I mean, I don't know. I just don't get it. I don't get the whole superstition.
It's kind of dumb. It's kind of dumb.
Yeah, it just doesn't really. Yeah, I don't know. It's like if it doesn't happen every time, then it's not a real thing. That I obviously, like, superstitions are like, it doesn't change what happens. Like,
yeah.
People say, oh, I turn the game off to see if they're going to win. Like if they whatever, I'll turn the game off and not watch it anymore. you know, because every time I look away, they score or
Yeah.
like they do well. It's like, yeah, but the game's going to happen the same whether you're watching it or not. Like
Yeah.
your whatever you're doing does not impact the people who are actively playing the game.
For
That's just
sure.
me being cynical in a way. Yeah, I get it. I
Yeah.
get why people have superstitions and why they do it, because it's like a belief, like it makes you like part of the team, part of the action, that kind of thing, which is fine. I get it. Like if you have one, like go for it. Like do you. But I don't know.
Yeah,
I
it's
might have
kinda-
to, I
at
might have
the
to-
end of the day,
maybe I
it's
will
kinda-
have to hop on the bandwagon of all the Avs fans paying Etsy witches
What?
to dude, have you not seen this?
No.
Dude,
Explain.
it's so funny. So like apparently
Etsy?
Etsy, like you know what Etsy is, right?
Yeah.
There's like a whole thing, like there's like women on Etsy who are like witches, and they put like spells on whatever you pay them for, right? And apparently a bunch of Vegas fans had Etsy witches put spells on Colorado. So now all these Colorado fans after game 3 are like paying Etsy witches to like curse Vegas. All I have to say
Vegas
is
is
these
officially
witches
my
on
least favorite team.
dude, these witches on Etsy are making bank right now off of this series.
Yeah, for sure, dude. The NHL is supporting witchcraft now. I
Yeah.
guess this is like a new
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
But
Yeah, if you didn't
that's
have any other
crazy.
reason to hate Vegas, now you do. But also, like I said, like all these Colorado fans are like, is it time to like hop on the trend and give them a taste of their own medicine?
That's crazy. I did not know this was a thing.
Yeah.
I guess
It's
I'm
so
uninformed.
funny. It's so funny. I bet you
That's
it happens like with every team. It's just like I follow a lot of like Avalanche pages, so I see a lot of it. But it's like it's so funny. Yeah,
That's
there
crazy.
was a couple of them online, like in like from like big. I forget which page it was. It was like a
witchcraft covens or whatever.
No. It was like a page that just exclusively does like NHL stuff, and they posted about this thing. I forget which page it was. I have to find it again. But they were posting like people's like screenshots or whatever, or like them like DMing or like sending the PayPal confirmation, being like
That's crazy.
the wish, like the they've been paid. Like
That's
it's so
crazy. Wild. That's next level. I think
So,
with that, we call it a day here.
yeah,
I'm ready to go
yeah.
watch overtime. Hopefully, there's no witchcraft going on in the Eastern Conference.
You bet. I bet you there.
Probably
Carolina fans seem like they're big on the
the
witches.
witchcraft voodoo stuff. Yeah, who knows? Carolina has a bunch of like, Appalachian forests and whatever else, and like, that like Southern charm. And I mean, we live in Texas, but I feel like Texas is different than their kind of Southern. You know what I mean? Like, they got like the
Carolina's like a northern East Coast like state that tries to claim to be Southern when they're just another.
I mean, there's I don't know, but yeah, kind of, yeah, you're right. Yeah,
North Carolina and South Carolina are basically just retirement communities. So
basically, I mean, that's probably why they have so many fans showing up, because they don't work. Like
yeah, they're like our stadium is, every game we have is always sold out. It's like, yeah, because you sell a lot of handicap spots because everybody's rolling up in their wheelchairs and their walkers and their little scooters.
Oh my gosh, bro.
They sell a lot of GA tickets and like standing room only.
We're going a little hard here, but I think that's where we call it. Yeah, conference finals, y'all. We'll see how they end up, and we'll see y'all next week, man. But hey, good one. Good time talking to y'all today, and thanks for all the engagement. As always, go follow all the socials. You already know, link is in the description. Check it out, and we'll see y'all in the next one.
See ya.